Okay, this is the solutions to the revision sheet 190908. It's on algebra. First question. You're given an equation, minus 47x minus 30. Should be looking at it, it's an equation. You're going to have to multiply both sides by 7, because the 7 underneath the line is causing you trouble at the moment, so that's what you're going to deal with. Of course the 7's will cancel off. It's a quadratic equation. You know it's a quadratic equation because there's an x squared, an x and a normal number in it. You're going to bring everything to one side and then you're going to solve it. I'm going to bring everything to the left hand side in this instance. You could bring everything to the right hand side, but I think we just prefer having the x squareds positive. Big X method. Should be well able to do this. Multiply diagonally to check, group them horizontally, everything is going to work out nicely there. So 7x plus 5. There's the first question done. Of course, if you have time in an exam, all you have to do is take each of those x values individually, sub them into the entire equation to double check it, and the left hand side should equal the right hand side. That's how you'll know you're correct. On to part B. Part B is division. Been a while since you've seen these. It's first into first. So you're going to say 3x divided into 6x cubed. If you're struggling to see how these go, well, 6x cubed means 6 by x by x by x, and then divided by 3x. Of course, they'll cancel to leave 2. 2 of the x's cancel above one above, one below, leave you with x squared. So multiply it back down. So 2x by 3x squared, 6x cubed. Draw your line, change the signs. They'll cancel for you. So it's minus 9x squared. Drop this down here, so it's plus 27x, and you just begin the process again. So now it's going to be 3x divided into minus 9x squared. Again, if you're struggling with these, just down in the corner here, minus 9x squared means minus 9 by x by x. X's cancel. So minus 3x. Then multiply back down. Minus 3 minus by minus gives you your plus. Draw your line, of course change your signs again. They'll cancel. So 27 minus 6. Make sure you're doing that correctly, please. Use your calculator if you need to. It's where most people make their mistakes. It's not that they can't do it, they just make mistakes with their signs. And you start the procedure again. I'm not going to do it out this time, so 3x into 21x squared goes 7 times. Multiply back down. Of course, when you change the signs, what you should get is that everything cancels to give 0. If you don't get 0, you know that you've done something wrong. Moving along to part C. It's 3 minus 2m. It's all over 5, and it's equal to 3. Now this isn't so much an equation as it is something that they just want to see if you can move it around, isolate things and change things around. You're left, you've got the same problem as what you had with part A. It's the 5 underneath the line. That has to be dealt with first. So we're going to multiply both sides by 5. 5's of course cancel for you. So you're just left with 3 minus 2m, 15. You can bring the 3 over to the left hand side if that's what you want to do. makes no difference, so you can leave the minus 2m there, bring it over. I'm going to leave the minus 2m here just to highlight the fact that you leave the sign that's in front of the 2m. Divide both sides by minus 2. And your m value is minus 6. Moving along, part D. Fairly straightforward. Um, 2 does divide into each of the coefficients there, the 2, the 4 and 30. But because it's not an equation, it's just an expression, it's not equal to anything, we can't alter it. If you divide that by 2, you'll be docked marks. It's not the same thing, it's not an equation. So we have to factorise it the way it is using the big X method. So it's just 2x and x, minus 6 and 5, mess around with the factors until you find the ones you need, and then group. Again, you can't go any further with this, you can't solve it, you can't put it equal to 0, you can't find out what x is equal to, etc. because they didn't say anything in the question. It doesn't say that it's equal to 0 in the question originally, so you can't make that call. Okay. After that then, you're asked to divide that by 3. So the question was 2x squared plus 4x minus 30. And that's all over x minus 3. That's because you've factorised it up here. You can replace the top line with your new factors. So you can say that it's 2x minus 6, x plus 5, all over x minus 3. But when you look at it, nothing will cancel for you. But if you have a look at this factor here, it can be factorised a little bit itself. So if I take out 2, you'll have 2 by x minus 3 by x plus 5. That's all over x minus 3. And of course now they will cancel. So you'll be left with 2 times x plus 5 or 2x plus 10. Makes no difference which way you write it. Of course, lads, you could use division for that question. You could have set it up, I'll just put it here on the side. You could have said x minus 3 divided into 2x squared plus 4x minus 30 and use the procedure that you've seen in part B. Okay, moving along. Next part of the question, solve an equation 3a squared plus 5a equals to 2. This is E. Again, lads, we can't solve equations, quadratic equations, unless they're equal to 0. So that tells us that we can do nothing with this until we bring everything to the left hand side. And after that then, it's big X again. Make sure you solve those correctly, please. Okay, F. F is an inequality. Haven't seen those in quite some time. You treat inequalities the exact same way as you would normal equations. You just have to be careful when you're finishing them. So basically I want the x's on their own, numbers on their own. I'm going to bring all the numbers to the left hand side. So minus 98 is there already, minus 10, minus 2x. And what this question here is really testing is, do you remember that if you divide an inequality by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality itself? So notice please the change. and that change has happened because you're dividing by a negative number. Why did I know to divide by a negative number? Because of the minus 2x there. That's what tells me. That's my guide. Okay, moving along. G. G, you're given two functions. F of x, you're told, is 3x plus 1. G of x is 1 plus x squared. A couple of things worth noting here. First of all, these functions represent graphs. And what you're really doing here is a simultaneous equation. You're finding out where they intersect. F of x, because it says 3x plus 1, the highest power of x there is x to the 1. So 3x to the 1 plus 1, which means it's a straight line. G of x, the highest power is x squared. That means it's a quadratic. So it's going to be x squared plus 1. It's going to be a happy face. You're not asked to draw them or sketch them. You're just asked to work on the mathematics of it. So it's very simple. You're asked, where is f of x equal to g of x? And you just do exactly as it says. So f of x is 3x plus 1. And g of x is 1 plus x squared. Ignoring everything else around it, the f of x, g of x, etc., etc., and just looking at this line here, you can see that it's going to be a quadratic equation. I'm going to bring everything over to the left hand or to the right hand side. The ones will cancel. Plus 1 minus 1. And I suppose what's interesting about this is sometimes people get caught on how to solve these. So when you've got an x squared and an x but no normal number, the easiest way to do it is to factorize. Finishing it out, or it still means two brackets being multiplied. So that means that either x is equal to 0 or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Finish this off, x is equal to 3. That's the end of that question.